Welcome to the Iridescence Academy's YouTube channel, your personal mastery hub, where you get to shine your inner iridescence through personal transformation. We are going to start first by talking about us as electromagnetic beings. So let's start there. Now, you may ask, how do you know that? Like, what makes you think we're electromagnetic? So I'm going to do a quick demonstration. This is an energy stick that I bought from Amazon. Any of you can buy it. It's called Energy Stick, as you can see, and it does not have any batteries. It has light bulb inside it, and it has a sound mechanism. It's not powered by batteries. So if you look at it, I touch one end of it, nothing is happening. And then I touch the other end, nothing's happening. But then if I touch both the ends, now this is possible simply because my body, just like any other human being's body, is emanating electromagnetic frequencies. And by touching the two ends which have the conductors, I'm completing the circuit for this particular energy, electromagnetic energy, to flow through this gadget and lights it up. So this is just a simple demonstration of the fact that you and I, are electromagnetic beings. Now, one of the deeper understandings on that aspect is that whenever we have a thought, it creates an electric impulse in our brain. And every thought and its accompanied emotion, the emotion that goes with it is magnetic. So you could either have an emotion first or a thought first. It doesn't matter what comes first. Every thought and accompanied emotion makes us electromagnetic. And whatever it is that is our dominant thought process or dominant emotion that we are experiencing, that is really the frequency at which our electromagnetic energy is vibrating at, okay? So now having said that, why am I talking about this? Like, what's the connection between this and the topic is what the heck is electromagnetic activation? The reason I'm explaining that we are electromagnetic and that our thoughts are electric and our emotions are magnetic is simply because when we work in terms of theta healing practice, which I'll talk about in just a quick second, is where we are learning and we are actually using the fact that we are electromagnetic is what we leverage in order for us to do these activations. So let's talk a little bit about that aspect, like theta or theta brainwave or theta healing. What are all those things, right? So let's give a little bit of clarity and insight into that before we connect the dots between theta healing, activations, and the fact that we are electromagnetic, thereby what is electromagnetic activations. We're going to complete the circle that way. So when we talk about theta, theta is one of the brainwave frequencies. So at any given point in time, our human brain could be in one of the states of brainwave frequency. It could be delta. Now, delta is a frequency that essentially is where we are completely asleep, right? When we are asleep, our brain is at the frequency of 0 to 4 hertz, and that's really what delta frequency of the brainwave is. Anytime we are just about falling asleep, but not fully asleep yet, our brain goes into the 4 to 7 hertz frequency, which is the theta brainwave. And just before we get into theta state, our brain could be between 7 to 14 hertz of frequency. And that's what alpha brainwave is, which is a relaxing brainwave state, not as relaxing as theta. Theta is deeply relaxing. And delta is completely asleep, right? So you have all these three we have talked about, delta, theta, and alpha. And beta frequency, which some of us call as beta, is basically the frequency that we are alert and awake and discussing, we are processing information, our conscious mind is fully aware, fully alert. That's beta frequency. So there are 4 key dominant brainwave states we could be at any given point in time. And the 5th one that's a rare occurrence for the most part is called gamma frequency. And gamma is where these epiphany insights are received by some of the geniuses like Einstein did when he was uncovering the theory of relativity, for example. So at any given point in time, we could be in any of these brainwave states. Now, when we talk about theta healing, we're really talking about meditating ourselves to the brainwave state or frequency of the theta brainwave state. And in that frequency, 2 things are possible for us, that we are able to access our subconscious mind And we are also able to tap into the energy of all that is. So this is where we're going to cross a little bit over to the spiritual realm as against the scientific realm, because until now, whatever I've said about brainwave frequency is something we have seen through, the various experiments conducted. There are publications, etc. The part that we are stepping in now is talking about theta brainwave being a deeply relaxing brainwave state where we are becoming aware of the connection to the source energy, the energy of all that is, the energy that we come from. So that's what theta healing really is all about, is connecting the fact that we are able to meditate to that deeply relaxing brainwave state that then makes us fully aware of the divinity that we are, the energy, the connection to the energy of all that is, the source we come from. Now, when we are connected to that source we come from through the theta healing meditation modality, we are able to create and uncreate through the act of witnessing. This is where, again, I'm going to go step into quantum physics for a brief moment. If you think about the aspects shared from a quantum physics standpoint, the act of witnessing creates things into our reality. The consciousness of the act of witnessing really brings things into our reality. And in that sense, when we are doing a theta healing meditation and witnessing the energy of creation acting on whatever that needs to be created or uncreated, we, by the act of witnessing, are actually bringing it into reality. So as theta healing practitioners, what we're really doing is witnessing the energy of creation doing its miracle. And just by mere act of witnessing, we are now making it a reality in the consciousness of the healer as a practitioner and the client. The reason I'm explaining this a little in detail is because this is a context that is super important for us to appreciate what electromagnetic activations really are in the context of some of the what we call the downloads that we may be doing in some of the videos that I'm going to be posting in YouTube, or I may be referring to some of the theta healing activations in my videos. So you're not left wondering, what is this stuff, right? So coming back to the theta healing practice, it is a meditative state where we access the theta brainwave frequency, and we become far more aware of our connection to the source of all that is. The truth is that we are always connected to the source of all that is. We are from that source, so we cannot be disconnected. However, our ability to become aware of that connection, to really receive guidance and be guided, is dependent on the extent to which our belief system allows us to do so. Okay, so a lot of the work I do as a theta healing practitioner, honestly, is just clearing those limiting beliefs that we may have about, ourselves, about society, about others, about God, whatever it is, right? It's all of those reprogramming process that we do as part of theta healing practitioner. Now, coming back to the fact that we are electromagnetic, our thoughts are electric, our emotions are magnetic, and our frequency, dominant frequency, attracts things into our reality, and we create our reality based on what it is that we are believing in our belief system, what are the predominant thoughts, and what are the emotions that we're experiencing. It's a combination, a complex combination of all of this, if you may, right? So when we talk about electromagnetic activations or theta healing activations, or even the word downloads, if you've heard of that, what we're really talking about is witnessing, as a practitioner, myself, witnessing new neural pathways getting created in our brains, or new receptors or receptors being opened up in the molecules of our emotion for something that we may or may not have as a feeling. Okay, so let me repeat that so it kind of sinks in a little bit. When we talk about electromagnetic activations, we're talking about potentially two things. Primarily, what we're talking about is creating new neural pathways. Now, I'm not creating, because what I'm really doing is witnessing the act of new neural pathways getting created in the client's mind, or in my brain, or in the client's brain, depending on who I'm working on. Because here's the thing: if you have heard about NeuroLinguistic Programming, the entire act of reprogramming your brain is basically creating new neural pathways. And when you reprogram your brain, you're really using affirmations and acting on those affirmations, based on what it is that we are affirming to ourselves, we are creating new neural pathways so that our brain is fully aware that that's who we are and that's what we are acting as if, right? So there are two steps to neural pathways getting created. One is that it needs to get created first, and second, it needs to get strengthened. This is, again, I'm not an NLP practitioner in full disclosure, but however, just by virtue of me reading, as well as with my gratitude to my teacher, Victoria Rader, who's taught me classes on theta healing, and she is an NLP practitioner, and I've had students who are NLP practitioners as well, and clients who are NLP practitioners. So they all, by their gift, I have come to realize that in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, what we're doing is creating new neural pathways and strengthening those neural pathways, right? So let's take the example of us learning to ride a bicycle. When we start, we struggle. We struggle with the act of balancing because there are no neural pathways created to help me balance a bicycle. Now, how does that get developed? I have to keep trying. I keep attempting it. I keep attempting it. I keep attempting it with some support, maybe some, what are those wheels? Training wheels, right? So I may attempt it with things like that. And then once my brain has created the pathway, okay, that's how I balance the bicycle. Once it's created, then I have to continue to ride the bicycle so that that neural pathway is strengthened, right? So NLP really offers us the opportunity to do both of these steps, creating new neural pathways and strengthening them. The way we address the same thing in theta healing is through electromagnetic activation. Now, what we do in theta healing is we, as theta healing practitioners, are witnessing the creation of the neural pathway. The first step is witnessed by us because we are working with the energy of creation, and we are commanding our subconscious to witness the neural pathways being created for the client or for ourselves. And once it's created, now the client only has to act as if that they are, that they are good at learning piano or whatever it is that we are reprogramming. And I'm going to give you an example before I finish this up with my own rewiring that I have done for just learning a new instrument. Okay, so you get to really make that leap in your journey of learning something or creating neural pathways through the step one, which is where the theta healing practitioner is going to witness the creation of the neural pathways through that electromagnetic activation in your brain. And thereby, the client now has to start acting as if they already possess that particular skill. Okay, that's one part of it. The second part is we also witness the opening up of receptors or teaching the client what it feels like to do certain things. So for example, if I don't know what it feels like to be loved, it's going to be impossible in some sense for me to attract people that love me or even love myself because the feeling is missing. And how do we manifest anything as an energy being? It is through us feeling things into our reality because we are electromagnetic, right? Our frequency determines what comes into our reality. If there's no frequency that I can ever feel of love as an emotion or as a feeling, and I'm using the two words interchangeably, we'll probably do another video on emotion versus feeling. But for this particular discussion, if I don't know what it feels like to love, I am going to not have the possibility to even attract it into my life. So as theta healing practitioner, the second thing we witness, again, we are witnesses to the energy doing its work, the energy of all that is carrying out the work, right? So here, the opening up of receptors in the molecules of emotion, let's say for an emotion like joy or love, something that we don't know what it feels like. So we're going to teach the client through electromagnetic activations, creating neural pathways and opening up receptors, what it feels like for them to do something or to experience something, right? So that really is what we mean and what we do when we talk about electromagnetic activations. It is purely by just connecting to the theta state, we are fully connected to the source energy or fully aware of that connection to source energy, and we are going to be witnessing, in alignment with the law of quantum physics that talks about the act of witnessing, creating things into reality. We are witnessing that electromagnetic activation, the neural pathway being created, the emotions being, or the receptors being opened up in the molecules of emotions, so that we are able to receive, that we know what it feels like to be wealthy, to be respected, to be loved. Whatever it is that we didn't have before as receptors, we now have. And thereby we are kind of giving a shortcut to the client, that they now only need to act as if, because they don't have to create the pathway. We have witnessed the creation already. So that's why a lot of these videos that I'll be posting in my channel are going to be talking about activations specific to certain aspects as I'm guided. And I wanted to make sure that you understood what the heck is electromagnetic activation. And why do I keep interchanging the words electromagnetic activation, theta healing activation, download? They're all the same, used interchangeably, meaning whatever it is that I have explained just now in this video. So I am hopeful that this gives you a little more insight into how you can leverage the work that I do as a theta healing practitioner, or even the videos that I put up in my channel, or even my mini courses that I sell, as packages for you to fully experience the benefit of the video, because a lot of them are teaching oriented, but at the end of the teaching, I also do activations, witness activations. So if that's something that's calling you, you know now how you can use it. You get to say yes to those activations, because law of free will is at play. You got to say yes. Your subconscious needs to hear it in order for you to receive those activations. So that's the key part that I wanted to explain. If you liked what I've just shared with you, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the like button and get notified for more such awesome content that I'm so excited to bring to all of you. See you soon.